Okay, like this week on like this week's like I don't know short attention span webinar, we're gonna like talk about like the like I don't know the millennials. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Have I
I think
annoyed
you're a
you
little bit
enough
more 80s
yet?
right now, Bill. You're actually even dating yourself even further,
Good, someone's gonna date me.
right?
So this is a as the you know what my girls Katie will be 24 tomorrow. We're recording this on the where are we the 25th of
hmm
April, and Katie will be 24 tomorrow. This generation of buyers, of customers, these are the ones that say no problem. You
hmm
know, they don't say my pleasure. They don't say thank you or well you're welcome. It's to me it goes right up my spine. You know, the lack of dress code, the lack of professional courtesy, the lack of, you
hmm
know, and guys my age, I'm 53, guys my age have a hard time because we've become Mr. and we are old school and we've earned these gray hairs. Thank you very much. So, Kelly, let's talk today about the difference, the big diff in talking
hmm
with, you're closer to it than I am, so you must be an expert.
Yeah, I'm actually not. I feel it a lot when I talk to younger people, and
Yeah.
but I probably around. Well, no, because you have three daughters. I mean, for me, it's like my sitters, it's neighbors, it's and certainly clients. I mean, people that I'm dealing with within organizations. Yeah, there are a lot of differences, but I think you have some specific things you want to talk about with regard to their perceptions about loyalty and pricing and how they learn. I mean, we may actually want to consider doing some more in-depth stuff on this. I think we're just touching on something that is really becoming a big issue as that gap widens. And what I tend to talk about a lot of times with my customers is you're 57 years old, Mr. Selling Guy. Your customer is 24 years old, right out of college. There's a lot of disconnects, a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of it's just plain old uncomfortable. And so this is, this is, I think, where I would go back to remembering that we're all human beings, first of all. Um, but I know that you had a couple of items specifically that you wanted to
Yeah, because
kind of
it's
talk
funny.
about.
It's funny. You saw me look away from the camera because I just wrote down a couple more. You know how they learn, how they
Yeah.
communicate, the need to
hmm
educate, and another thing that just kind of popped up, which was respect, not in
hmm
terms of their respect for us, but ours for them. I remember being 22 years old and being hated it when somebody called me kid.
hmm
Ugh, couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
Now of course, sir drives me nuts, right?
Right.
But kid, you know, this kid, this it just there's something about that was just disrespectful.
hmm
And it's okay. So I'm 53, and I've got to speak in a respectful manner to this 20-something-year-old in
Kid.
power. I know.
But power, right.
Yeah, in power, and
hmm
somebody who is not communicating the way I like to communicate. You know, that's a great point. How do you? Um, there was a short attention span webinar we did on voicemail, and one of the things that we talked about was there's a lot of younger people that don't like voicemail. They're not going to
Right.
listen to voicemail,
Nope.
so don't leave them one.
It's all
Very
email.
right, you know,
hmm
very different. All email. It might be a text message though. That's kind of tough with a client. You have their cell phone,
Right.
but following up on a quote, it's important to ask, right? How do you like to communicate?
hmm
How do you prefer?
Absolutely.
If I leave a voicemail, is that going to be effective? And they might come on and say, no. You know, I
hmm
saw you on caller ID. I'll call you back if I need you.
hmm
All right, thanks very much. No problem. So, but the other thing, you know, let's just back up a couple here. The price comparison. Okay, I've forgotten what the number is. I think it's 85% of the Gen X and Gen Y go online to
hmm
research something before they buy it. Now, there
Right.
was an article in the Wall Street Journal. I want to say it was a couple of Thursdays ago, maybe Friday. That would have been the 18th, right in there of April. And it was talking about how there's a lot of, there's a little mini catalog boom because the dot coms, the retail, you know, the online stores are printing something that people can look at and then go online and go to their
Right.
store.
Yep.
So that was. Did you see that? That was. I don't know if I sent it to you.
There's a couple of my customers that specialize in that kind of printing, and we're talking about trying to exploit that and really realizing that you might think, anyway, it's a whole new market to go into, which is exciting for printers.
And by the way, in this morning's Wall Street Journal, they were talking about. They quoted somebody from the University of Mississippi's magazine development department or something. They're studying because they were talking about how the Ladies' Home Journal is not going to be published.
Yep.
Right, monthly anymore. It's going to go quarterly. And they quoted this woman. There's a professor studying, print publication, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah, that's great.
So, loyalty is different.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say millennials are? Would you agree that millennials are less loyal? Would you argue with me at that point?
I mean, it might not seem fair to say it, but I think this is really all about different currency. It's about just a different methodology. It's a different mindset. So when they say no problem, they're not being disrespectful. It's just part of their lexicon.
Right.
It's also very common for them to shorten words that you wouldn't expect them to shorten, like probs. Instead of probably, because probably is such a hardship to say, it's probs. Or you hear this all the time, obvi instead of obvious, and they think it's acceptable to say these words in business settings, which is the difference between when we said slang, it was just among ourselves, and we knew we had to kind of step up our game professionally. It's very common to say you guys.
Yeah.
In a room full of business professionals now, it's acceptable to say these things. So again, my big two words right now for us all are adaptation and acceptance. We have to adapt ourselves to accepting that these young people are the people that have a lot of control over our earning potential these days, because they're the ones that do have the power. So
but it might be okay. So it's important to give them the product knowledge, but again, speak to them respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're obviously clueless as to what they're buying, it's our responsibility as sales reps, as we would anyone, to say, hey, let me just give you a quick Reader's Digest, which is actually, that's not something they might know.
Yeah.
Let me give you a quick summary of what this is about, or what you're buying, or can I bring you in on a plant tour, or something like that. So part of it, I think, is teaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a self-described travel snob. So I'm on the road quite a bit, and waiters and waitresses that come right over the table and start talking, and don't say excuse me. Makes me crazy. Every once in a while, I'll pull somebody aside and say, "Can I give you just one little piece of advice? Wait. Just stand there and wait." Or I'll say to somebody, "Don't say no problem. Say my pleasure." And it's their, it's their job to help educate us as well. I mean, feel free.
But I think
ask.
that we have to think about, what I'm talking to a lot of my clients about today is think about what information you want your clients to have, and think about how you want to deliver that. And more importantly, how do they want to receive it? So here's where I'm going to say videos that you can throw up onto a YouTube site and go, hey, because I know you're busy, or, just in case this is something that you might want to know more about, I'm just going to shoot you a quick email with a link to a YouTube site that's going to show you a quick 6-minute video on exactly what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
These are things that are going to make a lot of you go, ooh, it sounds difficult. But again, we have to adapt. And they like videos. They like infographics. They like things to be, short and sweet. So.
But you know what? They would look at that and say, quick 6 minutes. 6 minutes, huh? That's long.
Yeah, maybe 2. Yeah. Wait, we like Vine. We like 6-second Vine videos.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, oh, boy. And by the way, I'm reading a terrific book right now called Hatching Twitter. It's about the birth of Twitter. Phenomenal.
Cool.
Absolutely amazing. Highly recommend. So it's a two-way education street, right? And I'll just close with this really cute story that my daughter Katie sent to me yesterday about how parents mess up with text messages. So there was a mother that texted a daughter and said, "I don't understand what these abbreviations mean. IDK." 143 TTYL. What does that mean? And the daughter writes back, "I don't know. I love you. Talk to you later." And the mother writes back, said, "Okay, I'll ask your sister."
Right.
So, fortunately, I knew all those already.
I like the one that was, "LOL, your aunt's dead." And she's like, "LOL, Mom, what's so funny about that?" And she goes, "Oh, I thought it meant lots of love."
Yeah. we are clueless in this generation. So
Right.
it does help to sit down and say, listen, we are from two different generations. How can we meet? Where can we meet? How can
Mm-hmm.
we communicate? What do I need to do? And teach them a lot of these things and be that educator for them from this
But,
lofty goal, this lofty spot that we hold.
right.
So, anyway, all right, good. Well, listen, Kelly, thank you very much for your time today.
Totes.
I've been saving that one up.
Right.
And talk to all of you like later or something next week. Next short attention span webinar. Thank you.